responsibilities as a senator?
Well, my primary responsibilities are to represent the people of the 12th district in the state legislature. So the district, not only does it include Madison, but it also includes Brantford, Guilford, North Branford, Durham, and Killingworth. So it's an election every 2 years, and the primary goal of a state senator and a state representative is to represent the needs and concerns of the people before the state legislature.
And so then how do you represent those people?
Well, it's a good question. One of the things you do is you talk to people, and you try to listen to what are the key issues that are on people's minds. A lot of times, people in public life, politicians spend a lot of time talking because wherever we go, we're invited to give a talk at a certain function, etc. But really, you get a lot of information just by sitting and asking people, what do you think we need to do to grow our economy in the 12th district and in the state? Or, we're facing a big budget crisis right now. And I like to ask people, well, what are some of your ideas about things that you think we could do without, things that we, could do better, more efficiently, et cetera. So when I do go to Hartford, I can say, well, I've spoken to a lot of people in my district, and, they have a lot of concerns about this particular issue. So we're sitting here this afternoon in the Durham Library, where I'm in about a half an hour from now. I'll be conducting what I call my open office hours. And I do that about once a month around the district. I'm actually doing it in Killingworth and then in Brantford in December. And I was in Madison last month, and I move around to all the 6 towns of the district where people come in, and I really don't know who's going to show up. Sometimes it's a really wide variety of people that have particular issues that are facing their town. So here in Durham, I've advertised it online in the local press, etc. Come talk to your state senator about the issues that you care about. And we usually have a really good cross-section of people that are concerned about education, jobs, the environment, transportation, all sorts of different. They have a parent in a nursing home. They feel like we need better, coordination of care and things like that. So it's a really good opportunity for me to understand, what are especially when you keep on hearing the same issues over and over again. So one of the answers to your question is I host regular office hours with people. I get approximately 200 emails a day and phone calls. That's the primary, one of the primary jobs of my legislative aide, Aurora, is to field those calls, understand, report back to me what are the key issues people are calling about, etc. So, and then of course in my daily life, I go to a lot of community events, senior centers. Tomorrow we're having a big a veterans event to honor veterans, but also better understand what we can be doing as a state to make sure that the services to our veterans are provided as they should be. I meet with small businesses all the time to learn about what they think we need to be doing to jumpstart our economy on the shoreline. So it's an incredible education experience, and I take all of that information so that when I'm presented with how to vote or talk to the leadership in the state senate about what we need to prioritize, I can do that effectively because I have a lot of information on the subject.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about the election process and how you became a senator?
Well, the election process is, so the state senator, I'm a newly elected state senator, so I was elected last year, and I was sworn in January. So I haven't quite served a year yet, but I'm coming up on a year. It's pretty much, it takes about a year, 6 months or a year to launch a campaign. And even though I've lived in the 12th district for 20, 25 years and know a lot of people, and I'm an attorney, my wife and I are very active in civic, organizations, etc. You need to go out and meet people, talk to people, knock on their door, ask them, tell them that you're running for office, and then, why I think I'm the most qualified person to be doing this. And then I had an election last year where we had a total of 7 debates where we got together, and these are organized by usually the Chamber of Commerce in each town, or a nonpartisan, League of Women Voters, or an exchange club, or whatever. They bring together groups of people who are interested in public policy or business or a variety of different issues, and there's an impartial moderator that usually asks the questions, and then we're offered a chance to speak about our vision for the shoreline and the state and why we think we're the best person to execute on that. So what prompted my opportunity was the retirement of longtime State Senator Ed Meyer, who served for over 10 years as the state senator from the shoreline, and then he decided to retire. So that presented, what's called an open seat. There was no incumbent, and it really was an opportunity for a kind of a fresh start to, normally when you run for office, there is a current office holder who's the incumbent, and they're trying to maintain their position. So you have to spend most of your time saying, this person is a bad person because, they voted this way or that way, or they don't work hard, or they don't really, they're not really in tune to what's really going on in the district, or whatever it is. But the basic thing is you have to spend a significant amount of your time attacking the other person and trying to explain why they are bad and why you are good. In an open seat situation, I think it was a much more pure process because both of us could talk about, we didn't spend a lot of time attacking each other. We really talked more about the vision that we had for the district, and it was a fresh start, and it wasn't a situation where it was more contentious. Usually it's more contentious when you're trying to unseat a current office holder. And that's, so that was the political kind of dynamic. Yeah. So once you decide that you're interested in running for office, then you have to undertake the process of actually putting together a political campaign. And much of that has to do with talking to the different town committees. If you're seeking the Democratic nomination, then you have to talk to all the different, each town has their own Democratic town committee. And if you're seeking the Republican nomination, you need to get the support of the Republican town committees in the district in which you want to serve. Now, there may be other people other Republicans or other Democrats that you have to vie for the opportunity to seek their endorsement and win the primary. In my situation, and in my opponent's situation, we were basically, through our discussions with the different town committees, neither of us had a primary opponent. Do you see what I mean? We didn't have to battle it out amongst our own party before we turned to what's existing right now in the presidential election, where you have a huge amount of time, effort, and energy going to actually just become the nominee of your party. So that's the election process, and it consists of debates, a lot of one-on-one meetings with people, talking to business owners in town, understanding what's on people's mind, letting people know that you're going to be accessible and available to speak to them about. They give interviews to high schoolers, that type of thing. But that's that's fun, because if you like people and you like talking to people, it's an incredible education, because you get to meet all these different people in all these different lines of work who have different issues that they care about. So it's an interesting educational experience.
Right. So are there any current goals that you have for like this term?
So currently serve on 4 committees: the Internship, Transportation, Public Health, and Environment Committee. And I'm the chairperson, the Senate chairperson of the Environment Committee. So most of my time, I'd say like 90% of my time, is actually focused on environmental issues. There's a lot going on it. And the environment also covers all agriculture issues. So it's everything from clean water, Long Island Sound, for example, rivers and streams, clean air, historic preservation, farmland preservation, pesticides, animal cruelty. I mean, it really is a wide variety of different issues that we undertake every year in the Environment Committee. Last year we had about 300 proposed bills. These are bills that people wanted, laws that people wanted to pass. We whittled that down to about 60 bills, for which we had public hearings, and we have, it really is interesting process for people to come and they testify on a particular issue. And then I'd say we had about 25 of those bills actually became law. So it's a very active committee. We're fortunate that people in Connecticut have a real strong interest in environmental protection, because that's not the case in other parts of the country, but here it really is. Democrats and Republicans both like living in Connecticut because it's a beautiful place to live, and they want a clean Long Island Sound, not just because it's beautiful to look at, but it's part of the economic prosperity of our whole region, et cetera. So that's what I spend most of my time doing. This year, we plan to look at a wide variety of different issues. For example, recycling efforts, batteries, recycling product stewardship, including tires. We're looking at packaging, consumer packaging. Like when people order stuff online, you get all these boxes and stuff, and it's just more cardboard and packing material and whatnot, and it's very wasteful, and our towns are spending a lot of money just getting rid of like all this waste. There's some unfinished business from last time that we're going to be taking a look at. One of the things we're doing on December 3rd, we actually have an environmental summit of the 12th district. In fact, Mr. Maloney here is going to come. Are you coming to that?
Absolutely.
He's coming to, and where we're getting people who are very active in environmental issues, either land trust issues or people concerned about pesticides or pollinator health. You know, bees are being exposed to chemicals and then they can't pollinate. Well, if bees can't pollinate in Connecticut, we have, for example, Bishop's Orchards, who relies on bees to be able to pollinate their apples and peaches and other crops that they grow. It's a very important industry in Connecticut. So we're going to be talking about that, shoreline stabilization with sea level rise and climate change. You know, towns like Madison are facing, increased flooding, increased storms, how we're going to respond to all of that. So it's going to be really interesting. So we have people gathered together from a wide variety of different points of view and perspectives, and we hope to get as many different thoughts and ideas about what we can do in this next legislative session to improve the environment in our district and in our state.
All right, and then just to conclude, is there any advice that you would give to like an aspiring politician?
Are you an aspiring politician?
No, but if there was, that was.
Why not? I think I think it's a great thing to get involved with. In fact, I've met some students from Daniel Han High School who've come to the state capitol repeatedly over the last couple of years who took on the issue of smoking in cars. And there's 2 or 3 states that ban smoking in cars when children are in their car seats because of the danger of secondhand smoke to young children. And students at Daniel Hand High School took on this issue. Now, some of them have since graduated because sometimes it takes a few years to actually get something done, but have come up and testified, first of all, conceived of the legislation, convinced a really important core group of bipartisan, for example, this is an issue I'm working on with Noreen Kokaruda, who's the state representative from Madison, who's a Republican. I'm a Democrat from Brantford, but we're working together on this important issue, public health issue, as well. So really, I give credit to students, probably in a civic class much like yours, conceived of an idea, and I really hope that we're able to get something done on that in that area. So it's just getting involved. It's writing letters. Tara here you can film Tara. Tara here has gotten. Am I embarrassing you, Tara? No. Tara she got involved in my campaign when I was running last year, and Tara's also helped me with a lot of these office hours that I have, greeting people and helping me coordinate, because I just have one legislative aide, Aurora. So, and I've got a lot of people who are, there she is, wave Aurora. So I have a lot of people wanting to talk to me and meet with me. So I need help. And I'm really, really fortunate that in my campaign this last time around, I had the most incredible volunteers and interns that came, worked in my office, made phone calls, knocked on doors, helped me write position papers on every single topic you can imagine, and really provided the bulk of the work that I needed to do on my campaign. So I'm saying, if somebody's interested in politics, get involved in a campaign, either on the local level for the first selectman, Democrat, Republican. To me, it doesn't really matter. It really matters just getting involved. You learn a lot about the process. Or run for office yourself. Either there's many different local offices people can run for. There's a lot of different boards and commissions. Each of these towns, like for example, you're from Madison, but each town has, inland wetlands, parks and rec, shellfish. There's all these different, how many?
Maybe 20 of them, right?
20 commissions, okay, in town. They all need volunteers. No one gets paid for this work. That's how these towns run. And a lot of people start off by getting involved in a particular commission on an issue that they're really interested in and can contribute to, and then they see how government works, and then maybe they decide to run for office themselves. And in the meanwhile, they've come in contact with a lot of people in their capacity of serving on a commission.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
So thank you.